Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
You shut your goddamn whore mouth.
How dare you! I would like to rear up and jackknife my legs and kick you both with my foot bone.
When I vomited into bed, I just ate it. I'm not even fucking with you. It's good to see you.
No offense, David Jaffe, but that's bullshit.
Hello, you all so-and-sos. It is I, your Papa Jaffe. Come to me. Hugs. Let's do hugs now. Virtual hugs. What's going on, fellas? Good to see you. This is Good Morning Geeks, Good Morning Gamers, whatever it's called. It is a fly by the seat of our pantyhose show. This is not Gabbing Games where we have some topics, but it's very casual, it's very hang, it's kind of free chat with a little bit of a loose structure, so it's kind of whatever the fuck you want to talk about. You can call in on the Discord, chat to your heart's content about the things that are making geeks and gamers and all that good shit happy. Welcome, members. I appreciate you being here, both from over on the Patreon and right here on the YouTube. You guys keep the lifeblood flowing for the channel, and I appreciate it very, very much. It's not a new hoodie. No, Addie Pie. Happy Monday to you as well. Pablo says, Jaffe, I'm 39, and I finally got diagnosed with adult ADHD. What a difference medication makes. Oh, I know. Oh, I know. What do you got? Rocks in your head, people who don't believe in our good sir friend Pablo? It absolutely does. It absolutely makes a huge difference. When I was first put on the medication, it was within maybe 45 minutes and it was like nothing. And then boom, it hit me. I was reading a book. I'm like, oh my fucking God, I can read a book. I can read a book for a long fucking time. It was awesome. So welcome to the club, sir. Welcome to, I don't know, welcome to the ability to take what is usually a disability and turn it into a superpower only for about 3 to 6 hours a day, then it wears off. But hey, at least you got that window. Oh my God. Okay, listen. I've been playing Final Fantasy VII. No. So what happened? I mean, I'm going to keep playing it. I haven't played Remake, and I started playing Remake, and I loved it. But let me tell you something, guys. I have I'm making a video about it tonight or tomorrow. I have fallen head over heels in love with Unicorn Overlord. I don't know, it's a stupid fucking title from Atlas. This game is delightful. It's not for everybody, obviously. No game is, and I understand this is a niche title at best, but boy, oh boy, this is fun. Atlas had the brilliant idea to release, hello dog, a 7-hour demo. And it's not even really a demo. They basically just said, here's 7 hours, do what you want with them. And it is my go-to game right now. It is absolutely delightful. It is a strategy RPG. Some people don't like the fact that once you actually engage in the combat of the title, it's hands off, but it's not really. It's not really, because you have so much tinkering you can do with your characters and their gear and their weapons and their positioning on the board and who's standing next to each other and all that, and then, by the time you actually say go and you sit back and watch your wind-up toys do the work, it's, you need 5 seconds of a brain break. It's great, man. I'm absolutely loving it. It's developed by Vanilla. Absolutely, yeah. People have been telling me that if I like that game, I would absolutely love the title always struck me as so stupid. It was like Aegis 13 Air. I don't fucking know, but people say that one's excellent as well. Same developer. I saw a story that the guy who runs the company, Vanilla Ace, what is it, buddy? What do you need? Do you need me? Buddy, I just started streaming. You can go suck your own pee-pee. Come on now, that's not nice. But he's like, look, man, we ran out of money, and so you want to get up there? It's okay, you can get up there. He's like, we ran out of money, and I just footed the bill for my own fucking pocket. I think he's going to make his ducats back pretty easy. Did I manage to play the Stellar Blade demo? No, I did not. I was just a little bit too late. But I saw some people playing it online, and it looks fine. I'm excited for it. I saw a thread over at NeoGAF, and it was so funny because it's like, there's a group of people out there that feel that, this is the game that's going to bring the chickens home to roost, and finally we got TNA back in video games, which, by the way, is great. I'm not opposed to it. A lot of people think I am because I support people's right not to do it. But I think that's great. I think she looks super hot. I think the physics are fun. But I don't think this is going to be that big of a title. I think it's, even the best of breed in that genre, like Devil May Cry or Nier, they struggle from a standpoint of comparatively speaking to big hit video games these days. But the one that I've been interested in more first-party Sony is the Rise of the Ronin previews are dropping today from pretty much all the sites. And it's kind of interesting because they're all very, very positive, but they all say it is like, I'm predicting an 8 Metacritic on this one because they're all saying, look, this is Assassin's Creed, this is Tsushima, this is they listed like 4 or 5 games. It's like, this is just almost like a mix these together and get this game. And they're saying usually that would be kind of but they're like, it really just fucking works and it's really fucking fun. And I also like that there's a difficulty slider. Thank God for people like me. I have come to terms with the fact that I will be a easy game playing mode for the rest of my life, probably, except given certain situations, and I'm very, very happy with that. So I'm looking forward to both of them, and I certainly will play Stellar Blade, but Ronin is the one that the first party exclusive, which I think comes out this month. They both come out this month, don't they? Or Stellar's in April. That has me pretty excited. Somebody was asking about Titus Crow says is what's a game? Unicorn Overlord only for PS5. No, it's my understanding is it's for all the consoles, but it's not for PC. And that honestly is the only thing that bothers me about it, because the way you select your troops' position on the battlefield is this weird kind of, semi-isometric view. and it's very hard to select. And if you had a mouse, it would just be fucking delightful. But it's great. And again, they're giving you I mean, think about the balls on this company for a minute. Think about the balls on Atlas or Sega Atlas or whoever pulled that trigger. These motherfuckers are like, okay, I mean, who would give you 7 hours of their fucking game? Most games, by the time you get to hour 7, you're already fucking bored if you're most people. It's like you play it because you paid for it. Why not? They're saying this game's so fucking good, we'll let you play for 7 hours. And what it really is they're kind of figuring, and I think they're absolutely right. If you play close to 7 hours, it's already got its hooks in you, which means by the time you get to hour 7, you have invested in your characters, and you've named them, and you've given them certain weapons that you like, and you've got your strategies kind of worked out, and then suddenly they're like, what are you going to do, bitch, not buy it? And they're right. I'm 45 minutes away from my demo expiring, and the first thing I will do, unless they've made the boneheaded decision, which I don't think they have, to make it so your stuff doesn't transfer to the actual final game. There's no fucking way they did that. So it's absolutely excellent. Absolutely excellent. Awesome Tatum in the chat says Ronin's Rise of the Ronin. Isn't it called Rise of the Ronin? I got to think 7 out of 10. Fun, but nothing special. My take is 8. Because I get that it's nothing special, but it's nothing special. Very, very, very well done according to the, the goddamn cockadoodie interviewers. What do you mean? What do you mean reset? You're telling me that the stats don't transfer over? They fucking better transfer over. Addy Pie says, do you think Starfield's coming to PlayStation? Sea of Thieves is the #1 pre-order in the PS Store. I also heard today there are rumors that Hellblade 2 is coming. There's been somebody, Risk It for the Biscuit. I just love that guy's name. I don't know who he is, but apparently he says, hey, I've heard it from 4 different sources, who knows, that game's coming to PlayStation as well. So I think they're ultimately all coming to PlayStation. I don't know that, but honestly, I think the sooner that Xbox can get, or Microsoft can get Game Pass on PlayStation, they will be thrilled. And I think that's kind of where it's going. But, and that's what Gene Park said like 2 years ago. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I don't see that happening. But now I'm kind of starting to see that happen. So I think it's fucking great that Sea of Thieves. I mean, I've only come to Sea of Thieves in the last month because I tried Skull and Bones and it was like, I enjoyed it. It was fine for what it was. But I didn't buy it. And then people were like, Jaffe, if you like that, you should try Sea of Thieves. So I went on to Sea of Thieves and I was like, oh my fucking God, it's really fun. And it's fucking, I'm 5 years late to the party, but I've never seen waves in water like that, man. It's just the shit. Awesome Tatum says, Hi-Fi Rush with those haptics may add value to the game with the music stuff. Oh, yeah. No, I think playing Hi-Fi Rush on PlayStation 5 is probably going to be a better experience, assuming it's not a bad port, which I doubt it'll be, simply because of the dual sense, whatever the fuck it is, 5. Absolutely. Somebody whose name I can't pronounce, I apologize, says, have you seen the news about PS2 games coming to PS Plus? What games would you like to see there? Haven't there already been some games from PS2? But if I had to pick my top 5 that are not specifically first party, I would love to get SSX, or I don't remember. I know SSX 1 I loved. I don't remember the sequels. Like, is there like the best one is like, oh, no, 2's the best. But one of the I'd love to get the best SSX game on there. That would be great. I would, but Kinetic is already on there, so there's lots of PS2 games already on there. But regardless, I'd love to get SSX. Would be great to get on there. There's a game. There was kind of this game from Japan that was ported over here. It was super fucking nichey, but you played like a samurai, and what I fucking loved about it was there was so much narrative branching in that game that it's like you could do all kinds of things and the story just kept going. And I was like, this is amazing. What the fuck was that called? They've made like 3 of them, but I think it's kind of dead at this point. I don't think they have any plans to make any more. But the bigger news about PS2 games, are you saying PS2 or PS3? Because Bukkake PS3 has been the sticky widget for these guys. Yeah, Way of the Samurai, Suigalep. That's exactly the name of it. Yep. The bigger news about it is Sony is partnering with an emulation company. But for 2, don't they already have emulation at 2? is there anyone you would bring on to interview? I am going to actually, let's switch gears for a brief moment here if we can. So I tweeted, let me show you what I tweeted yesterday during the Oscars. I tweeted out this lady, I've not seen the holdovers. I hear it's absolutely phenomenal. Okay. And I'm happy she won, blah, blah, blah. Okay. This will answer your question about the next interview on the show. So this lady won the Oscar and she gets up there and she says, the first two things she says, God is good, God is good. Now I got a lot of shit for this tweet, but I'm going to read it to you anyway. I says, I have not seen the holdovers. I hear it's amazing and she is wonderful. Sounds like a very well-deserved award. Congrats to her. But opening her speech with repeated God is good is simply vulgar at this stage in humanity. I mean, come on, you knew what I was getting into. Such a lack of awareness of all the horrors going on out there, and she thinks God made sure she got her little statue. Come the fuck on. She can live in her delusion. She doesn't need my permission, but she certainly has my support to do so. But man, how many people watch this and had the narrative that God, assuming he's real, gives a shit about us at all, drilled into their brain a little bit deeper. And even if he is real, what does he care about what does he care about that he lets Israel go down in October and Gaza since then? He lets kids die of poverty and abuse, but the instant he can sway awards for acting or victories for football teams, well then, he steps right up and gets busy working his magic. Come the fuck on. You can say I'm being a dick, but this shit needs to no longer be normalized because it contributes to us being dangerous idiots. I love you. Okay. So I wrote this, yeah, and, people obviously got upset. They weren't happy. And I'm like, I like to engage in conversations that are, something interesting. Understanding says, bruh. Don't call me bruh. What are you, 5? Bruh. Stop being an atheist. Every creation has a creator. Shaking my head. No, it doesn't. But that said, though, Colin Moriarty reached out to me, and he said, what the fuck, man? What is that all about? And I says, well, what do you mean? And, we talked for a second on the email, and I said, we should talk about this. Let's talk about religion. So, me and Colin. So I'm very excited to have a conversation very soon with Colin coming on. And there's a few more people coming on as well. We just had Victor Lucas on, so, I plan on doing more interviews as we move forward. It's a long way to answer your question, but there we go. There is more. I'm not going to get into the debate about God right now. I'm just saying that this is what I tweeted. I mean, who created air? Wow, I don't understand your question. Understanding says, okay, Jaffe, name any creation without a creator. Here's what you have to understand. I put that question in the same bucket, and I'm not saying God isn't real. I'm an agnostic. I'm not an atheist. But I can't speak. I put that question, name a creation without a creator, in the same bucket as I put the explanations that people seem to have problems with for things like, well, the universe is absolutely perfect. If it wasn't perfect, we wouldn't be here. If the Earth rotation was X 0.2% off, the Earth, blah, 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 and all this stuff. And my answer to that is my answer to your question, which is we have very simple minds compared to the things that we don't know. The universe is vast and complex, and there may very well be creators out there. There may very well be very highly advanced species that put us to shame, that make us look like dogs compared to humans, or even rats compared to or whatever. You get my point. So when you are trying to apply human logic or human perspective to these questions of why, and well, if that's this, then what about this? How is there no beginning? How can you have something from nothing? In our limited view of the world, you can't. But that doesn't mean it's not possible. It just means that we don't perceive time that way. So anyway, I'm looking forward to it. I'll let Colin speak for himself. I know what his take is, and I'm not, or at least I know as it relates to what he believes, but I'm not going to, share that because it's his to share. Humans always says, my question first to you is, why would I not post it? What's wrong with posting it? And then I'll answer you, Mr. Rob. Alex says, Jaffe, without religion, you will always question your existence, but we don't know much about what's out there until we see it. Of course, I don't have religion. Of course I question my existence, but you should question it too, because you don't know any more, any less than I do. None of us know what's actually going But I am the Quidditch Hatterack, so, you know, fuck you. I'm not a rascal. Death Proof says, Jaffe, you're such a rascal. Why did God make you such a provocateur trickster character? I don't know, Zandatsu. That's just the way I was made, baby. Okay. Death from starvation is a horrible way to go. Thank you for that. Good to see you too, Scarlet Panic. Now, anyway, so we'll see. We'll see what kind of conversation we have about that. Has anybody played... fuck you, Ultra Awesome. I will fucking find you and say, hey, I found you. Listen, has anybody played the Princess Peach demo? I've had it downloaded for like a week, and I still hadn't gotten around to playing because I'm playing so many other goddamn things. But is it good? Is it exciting? Is it just kind of like, it's an also ran. It's like a B title. Downfall Media says, I played the demo, Jaffe. All right, cool. Then tell me about it. Hey, Downfall, you want to call in? It's good, but extremely easy. I wonder if that's like from, because they also did like Yoshi's Crafted World, which I loved, but it was very, very easy as well. So maybe they're kind of like going, hey, these are little kids games, but I think it looks really good. Okay. You got your daughter, Princess Peach. Cool. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I love Nintendo games. If there was a God, we wouldn't have Kid Touchers or Nickelback. Well, I like Nickelback, but Dr. Dryrobe, I got it. I think you're not wrong about that. I mean, I don't know. You know, if you watch that movie, again, I'm a searcher. I'm an agnostic. I'm an atheist when it comes to certain prescribed religions, but overall, I'm an agnostic. I don't know what's going on. So I search, and I watched that movie, and I was very moved by the motion picture show called The Shack. Was it The Shack? That was based on that very religious tinted novel that was a big hit about the guy whose daughter is kidnapped and killed, and then he kind of is home alone. He's lost his wife and his family, and he goes out to this shack, and then he ends up meeting God and Jesus and some Indian goddess, and kind of gets over his shit, and it's great. I loved it, and I love the movie. I haven't read the book. The movie makes me cry every time. And, you know, he's sitting there with God, and played by, who plays God? That one of the women in Hidden Figures. Forget her name, though. She was great, and they're making biscuits together, and they're sitting there having lunch, and he says, why do you let these bad things happen? And she says, or why didn't you punish the guy who killed my daughter? And he says, or she says, well, you know, I love him, and I feel for his trauma and problems much as I feel for yours. And so, I mean, you know, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful fucking message. It's a beautiful fucking message. But, you know, I don't necessarily believe it, but my mind is open. My mind is open. And Addie Pie says the only good movie with God is the one where Morgan Freeman plays. And yeah, but Oh God, Book 2 and Book 1 were pretty good. And Book 3. They were all pretty good. I'm not religious, says Doug, but that tweet seemed to just be written to stir up some shit and antagonize. No, I just like to have conversations that are based on things that have some meat on the bone. I don't want to sit there and go, what did you see that Robert Downey Jr. won the Oscar? Isn't that exciting? Hang on. Yes. Are you here for what I think you're here for? I'm going to tell you where they are right now so you can get them. But only one, and then I'm going to hide them someplace else. The Coke can, under the books, get one. My child has started smoking. She's an adult. There's nothing I can do about it. So I hide the cigarettes. That way she only gets one or two at a time, or one at a time. It's horrible. It's horrible. Sarah, tell the fine folks that you're going to quit smoking.
It's so bad.
Don't take the fucking... No, you give me that. Don't you take that damn thing. This child. No, I do not smoke. But yeah, so I'm not... answer your question, understanding. What was your question? He says, answer your question. My question, Jaffe, if you like deep conversation. I'm trying, but I got to find it, motherfucker. What was your question? The last thing, God gave us free will. Stop blaming God. That's your question? There's no question mark. What is your question, man? No, I vape weed, but I don't like smoke. I smoke, I'll vape once a month, maybe. But that's about it. And I don't really do it because I like the smoke. I'll do an edible as well. Okay, here's your question. What creation doesn't have a creator? I don't know. I don't know, but my answer, I already answered you. My answer was, you pose that question if it's some kind of gotcha question, like, see, you can't, that's proof something had to create us. And you may be right. Something may have had to have created us. I absolutely 100% do not believe it is the God from the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, or the any of those things. But sure, was there a programmer of a simulation? Was there an ancient or a still thriving future technologically advanced civilization that made robots out of biological materials, or what we call biological materials, and that's us? Maybe. I don't fucking know. No one knows. But I also know that, as I said, I'm going to move on from this topic. I know not everybody loves it. It'll be a very specific topic when I bring Colin on, or I go on his show, whoever he wants to host it. I don't really care. I just want to have the conversation with the man. But what I'm saying, though, is that you asking the question as if, see, there has to be something to create from nothing. And what I say to you is that is a very human perspective of someone who lives in 3 dimensions. And I live in 3 dimensions, and I'm a human, and I have the same perspective as you do, in the sense that I understand where the question's coming from. But it is, as I've said many times, it's like asking your dog to do algebra. Your dog can't even add. Your dog doesn't even know what the concept of numbers is. And you're asking him to do algebra. So the idea that you or I could understand, I mean, most of us watching this, if not all of us, can barely understand the physics in the movie Oppenheimer, right? Trust me, no one on this planet has ever given any indication that they're able to comprehend the level of how things work, to feel confident posing a question like, see, we must be special, or there must be a God, otherwise life wouldn't be able to happen on Earth. And my answer to that, so? Yeah, Derek says the solar system is too perfect to have happened by accident. Earth should have crashed into the sun a long time ago. No, it's not. Do you know how vast the universe is? And there is science now, if you look with what the James Webb Telescope has discovered, looking back before the beginnings of the universe, or to the edge of the universe that we can see, quote, see. And now they're, you've seen this, they're questioning if there even was a Big Bang, or if maybe the universe continues to die and then be reborn over and over and over. All of that, when you throw in the cosmic time scale and go, what are the chances of Earth having been Earth a trillion times, and this is one of the times where it could support life? I mean, it's just, again, you're applying, again, I'm not knocking your view. I'm not knocking you as a human. I get it. But if you don't see that you are trying to apply, first grade math to masters in quantum physics theory or whatever the fuck, if you don't see that that's what we as humans are doing when we're trying to understand the universe, doesn't mean we shouldn't try to understand it. But the idea that we have arrived at enough understanding that you can make those kinds of statements as if they're fact and proof for a being, I don't think so. Best reason to believe is the seeming proof of Jesus' resurrection. I don't agree with that, but I appreciate that you do. I mean, I we can talk about this if you want, or we can go whenever you want. I don't give a fuck. It's free chat, right? I was going to talk about geek stuff, but Ali says, I'm curious to see how certain religions progress or don't over the rest of the 21st century. Which religions will amend, update their old beliefs? I mean, they do that in real time already. Mr. Rob says, Jaffe, have you talked about the passing of Toriyama? Not really. Like, I saw today that Sacred Symbols, or one of Colin's shows, did a sort of like, let's remember the man, the Dragon Ball Z creator and Chrono Trigger artist. And, it's really uncanny. Not uncanny is the wrong word. It's really interesting to me that I was watching footage of the game based on one of his manga, which is like Sandworld, and that looks really good. And IGN had a thing up showing some more tank customization and vehicle combat, and I love the guy's vehicles. And suddenly, the minute I'm done watching that, I get the news that this guy died. And so yeah, I know his work, but I was never like, and I love his artwork, but I was never like a Dragon Ball Z kid. I didn't grow up with it. I did try to start watching, or I did start watching it the other night when he died. And I'm like, let me go back to the very first one I can find. And it's good. I like it. I don't know if I don't like it enough to keep watching it over other things I'm watching, but again, it's not made for a 52-year-old man unless you've already, come up with it. I'm going to buy Sand World. Looks super unique, says Understanding. I am too. I'm very excited for it. I like car combat. I like the fact that it is, in a lot of ways, it seems like they've accepted that straight up vehicle combat is never, because you don't have fidelity emotion, is ever going to be able to be that deep. But maybe with the customization and maybe with the being able to get out and maybe with the, it's PvE primarily versus PvP, it looks pretty good. We'll see. What did I say? Sandland? I don't know isn't that what it's called. I don't fucking know. Did I play Mad Max? No, Zeke. I know everybody says it's great. I own a copy of it, but I haven't. I've been playing... Like I said, I've been playing a lot of Unicorn Overlord. I'm playing Final Fantasy Remake. I am still playing The Banisher, Alex. I have not finished it. I'm playing a lot, though. Oh, I just got a key for the game Maniac, which I've shown some of you guys on the stream before. I'll be doing a video of it, but I'm telling you something, man. This thing's really fun. What it's an indie game, so don't act like, I love indie games. I love all games. But the tagline is like, original GTA meets Vampire Survivors. I think there's truth in that, but I also think it's as correct to sort of say it's the evolution of the PlayStation 1 launch title Loaded, right? If you remember that game, or it's like it goes from Robotron, or I guess it goes from Berserk to Robotron to Smash TV to Loaded, and kind of now to this. This is pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to streaming that and playing that with you guys. Dragon's Dogma 2, Death Proof. Yes. I am very much looking forward to that as well. It's just, the time. Oh, I have to tell you guys something. Okay. No, I'm not playing Rebirth yet. I still haven't finished Remake. Yeah, Contra comes out this week. I played through Contra. I actually finished Contra, believe that or not. But I played it on easy, and I really enjoyed it on my PC, and I made a video about it, and people people didn't get upset, but they were like, how do you know it's not your monitor latency and all this? And again, it's above my pay grade. I don't know what causes these fucking things. All I know is that when I was playing it on my PS5, there was a bit of a control delay, and when I played it on the PC, it was smooth as fucking butter. And so people are like, oh, well, it's got to be your monitor refresh rate or something. And I'm like, okay, but I'm playing both the PC version and the PS5 version on the same monitor. And then someone says, well, did you play it through your capture card? I said, yes. Okay, but let me try it not through the capture card. So I just went directly from the PS5 into the monitor. I still had the issues, right? So I don't know what it is, but I know that playing it on PS5 is a no-go for me, but I have been loving it on the PlayStation, the PC. There's just so much good stuff to play, you guys. There's a game called terribly named. What is this fucking thing called? Boar Blaster on Steam. Oh, it's so much fun. It is so goddamn good. They just don't stop coming. I think if we're gonna have a crash, fellas, it's gonna be a crash maybe that's born out of too much good shit. Because a lot of people go, oh, it's going to be the industry crashes because there's all the layoffs. Could be. Or the games got shitty like back in the 80s. Could be. But it also could be there's not enough appetite for the games to go around, as great as they are. I played a game over the weekend in one sitting, and I finished it in one sitting. And it's only a 3-hour game. It's on Game Pass right now. It's called... Return to Grace, and it is a sci-fi walking sim, so if you don't like walking sims, stay far away, about this astronaut, and she lands on this planet. I'm not going to spoil anything. I just give you, this is in the tagline, but she basically goes, she's an archaeologist, space archaeologist in the far-flung future, like the year 5000, 4000, and she lands on this planet because there was once this AI that once the AI was complete, it ushered in like a millennium of wonderful life for mankind. And then suddenly the machine went silent, and no one knows why or where or what happened. So she flies out to this planet. She's obsessed with solving the mystery, and it's really good, and it's really cool, and it's really well written and performed, and it's really smart. But what I loved about it on top of all of that was the fact that this motherfucking game was 3 hours. And I get it. Not every game needs to be that. Not every game should be that. But you know what? This had a nice beginning, middle, end. It was paced well. The only way you could argue there's any fat on the bone of this game is if you wanted to be a total completionist, which I was. And it cost me, quote, nothing because it's part of Game Pass. I mean, it was the perfect storm of all the things I love about the future of games, or what I hope will be the future of games. And I know that, some people agree, some people disagree, but if you're, and I also, by the way, I streamed the motherfucker. I didn't even download it. So it is the future. It is, a complete meal in a couple of hours. I didn't download it. There was no barrier of entry with that. There was no barrier of entry of finance because it was already packed into my subscription. And the best part about it, the most interesting part about it is it's not like one of those games like As Dusk Falls or something. It's a game that you probably, assuming your mom isn't like, or your dad or somebody who's not a gamer isn't like a moron, you could give this to somebody that doesn't play games, and not only could they play this, like 9 out of 10 people could play it, but they would also probably be compelled by it because you don't get stuck. And it's not hard, but it's engaging. It's like all of those things have been checked. The length, the difficulty, barrier of entry, the money getting in the way of people trying it, the download getting in the way of people trying it because you click the button and you're playing. And it happens to also be a really good game. It's not the best game ever made, but it's really fucking good, and I recommend it. It is called Return to Grace. Play that goddamn game, you guys, if you have Game Pass. At least try it, because I'm telling you, it's good stuff. Awesome Tatum, he says, Outcast: A New Beginning. I played the demo, right? I haven't played the actual game yet, but I know it was based on an old game. They did a remake. Stephen Hawkins, thank you for the super chat, buddy. I appreciate that generosity. He says, you want some geek stuff, motherfucker? When are we getting a Rebirth stream from you? I'm at chapter 10, 14 hours in, unless that's 1,400 hours in, and it's amazing. I'm going to pleasure myself to this. Well, what I will tell you, Stephen Hawkins, is I don't want to play it until I finish Remake, and I'm barely into Remake right now. Do I still play Snap? Yeah, played it today. I will be doing a conversation with an up-and-coming YouTube fella by the name of, I think his name is Kirkland Gray. And I like the guy. The guy's a funny guy because he's been appearing in a lot of people's podcasts. He's out there hustling, trying to make it happen. What's funny about him, and I'll say it to his face when I see him next, I'm not like mocking him behind his back, but his voice doesn't look like it fits his body, because his body kind of looks like he's 12 or 13. But his voice, he's very smart, he's very sharp, he's very articulate, but it just doesn't go with what you're looking at on the screen. So that's always a lot of fun. But yeah, he and I are going to be talking about the next season of Snap on a live stream coming up pretty soon. You should... Remake's not as good as remake is not as good. Oh yeah, I hear that. Contra got a 6 from IGN. Any thoughts, Jaffe? The reviews aren't anything special, says Billy Bones. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it cost. I got it for free. So what I would say is, if you can pick up Contra, I hate to say it because people think I'm insulting it, but I'm not. I loved fuck, Jaffe. I was reading the chat. I lost my train of thought. So my point is, I love Game Pass games. Contra's one of those games that if it was a Game Pass game, it would be perfect. Because I think if you're asking somebody to spend that much on a relatively short game, you have to already be a fan. I don't think it's going to convert a lot of people. But I do think that it's quite excellent for if you play it on the PC. It's exactly what it says on the box. It's Contra, but updated mechanics, more characters you can play, some imaginative level design, some imaginative scenario design. So I dig it a lot, but I don't know if you're telling me it's a $60 game or even a $40 game. I think that 6 from IGN kind of makes sense, but I think that one's very much tied to its price. I don't think you're going to... I think if you buy that game expecting more than an 8-level game that you can finish if you're decent or if you're playing on easy like me in a handful of hours, I think you're going to be disappointed. But it's still a lot of fun. It's a short ride, but it's a good one. Okay. So, but yeah, I'll get around to playing Final Fantasy. Like I said, I finally got around to playing Remake after all this time, and I think it's fucking great. I'm having a great time with it. What did I want to see? What is this? No, I don't care about that. I don't give a shit about that. What? Who the fuck else signs their tweet? Did I sign my tweet? I don't know. Fuck you, RPG. Go fuck yourself. Understanding says I bought the last Contra with the Panda Bear. I won't be fooled again. I don't know. This was fun. It was not great, but it's fun. It's like the new R-Type games, says Titus. They made it $60 with 3 passes for 30. Yeah, I don't know. Will I play Tsushima on PC? Only if it comes to GeForce, GeForce is like if 90% of the time, I mean, if it's a big game or a AA game, if I can get it on GeForce, that's where I'll buy it. But, I don't think Sony ever has put any of their stuff on GeForce. I don't know if that's because they're hoping or planning to bring PlayStation streaming games that are on PC directly to some, PC-centric place. I think they should, just like Microsoft does, but I don't know. Addie Pie says, do you prefer streaming to playing native? Oh, I do. Yeah. Because it's just faster. It's like I said, I mean, when I played Return to Grace, there was no, not that downloading a game is a hassle, but it's just one more little fucking step. And if I can just go to, I'll just show you, if I can just go to, I'm not going to play it, but, if you go to, here's Game Pass on my PC, if I'm sitting here and I just go to Game Pass and I'm like, oh, that looks cool. I click it. Now, Bolt Gun, I downloaded. I am playing Bolt Gun and I like it, but I was like, it probably would play great if I tried it. But I just was like, it's fast. But like, I'll play Sea of Thieves. I was playing that for a while, streaming. Return to Grace, I played all through streaming. I'm looking forward to playing on GeForce the Mud Runner Expeditions that just came out. So, do I have to download it on your system to use GeForce? No, not at all. That's what's kind of cool, or one of the very cool things about it is you don't have to download shit. So, you have to own the game. You have to have purchased the game. Or Game Pass or whatever. Some games are free. Some games you have to have Game Pass for. Some games you have to have on Steam or Epic or whatever. But yeah, no, you don't download shit. It's absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. You got to, Understanding says I tried GeForce, but my internet's not up to par. You got to be in the right place and all that. But yeah, Mud Runner, these are the two I really want to play. What is this thing? I can't even say it, but I hear it's excellent. The Thaumaturge. Stupid. But I hear that it's a great fucking game. And then Expeditions is what I got to make the time. I'm trying to be better and not stop playing a game to play another one, but there's so much cool stuff, and this is trucks and shit, and I love trucks and shit. I wonder if your preference to stream and eliminate as much friction relates to your choice of Ozempic. Oh, hey, if Blake's still watching, call in. That'd be a fun discussion I want to have with Blake. A desire for the fastest possible route from A to B. You're not overanalyzing. I think everybody takes the fastest route that they can take to get the end result that they want. Why would you not? I mean, even if the fastest route, even if Ozempic comes out and in 2 years, it's like this will 100% give you cancer, which would not surprise me. Right now, it's the fastest and the safest. But even if everybody says, okay, well, we're never going to have drugs to do what Ozempic does safely, even when you go to the gym, it's like you don't work on the same muscle set if you're lifting every single day. That's the fastest route to getting in better shape or building your body, right? There's always hacks or tips or strategies that people choose. It's just you're being selective regarding which particular tactic is acceptable for your brain and which is not. Somebody was asking about Ozempic downfall, and I said, oh, Blake, if you're still around, call in on the Discord. I'll bring you on, because you and I have been having that conversation in text. Let's have it in real life and see who wins the debate. Yeah. Anyway, I'm looking forward very much to Expeditions, and I do want to play the Thaumaturgy. What a name, man. What a name. Doug says, I take the route that seems ideal and safest. I've gone to the gym for 25 years. I could stop and eat pizza every day and take Ozempic, but I remain on the harder path. Good for you. I don't care. I think the only thing I care about is when people try to ascribe some sort of nobility to it. As if their path is, well, it's like, you can do that, but it's not really the really way to do it. And it's just like, dude, I mean, we can have that conversation. You're not going to like it, because I'll make you look like an idiot. I don't know if that's true. You might win the argument. I need to see Dune 2, man. I just haven't had the time. I haven't had the time. So we'll see. But anyway, yeah, no, I have absolutely loved. So if I can play a game streaming, that's where I'll play it. So I'm playing Banisher streaming. I am playing still Starfield from time to time. Not a lot streaming. You know, Doom streams great, believe it or not. All this shit, you know. It let me try Monster Hunter Rise. I was never a Monster Hunter guy. And then I was just kind of like, well, it's there. Let me click it, you know, because I think it was free, or I owned it, or I don't know how I ever bought it or whatever. And, you know, I'm off to the races. And it wasn't for me, but finally I didn't have to wait for an hour to download the goddamn thing. I just started playing it. So... Sniper, I'm still playing. It's good stuff. Okay, can I call from Ukraine? You can, if you can get onto our Discord, you can call. I'm not using the phone today. It's not the red phone. It's just the Discord. So if you want to put yourself in there, you can absolutely call in. So anyway, yeah. So I'm still playing it. I'm still playing streaming. It's my preferred way to play. But again, I'm privileged. I live, you know, in a place that has pretty good fucking internet, and I'm clearly close enough to the server farm. Not everybody gets that, but you know, that's where we're headed. We all know that's where we're headed. It's just a question of when. You know what's funny? I got to tell you this. You guys must have seen this. So Blake, I'll bring you on in 1 second, buddy. You guys must have seen this. Sean Layden the other day and Peter Moore of Xbox EA fame. Both of these guys are like, you know, not laying into like it's mean, but they're just like, look, the industry's got to change, man. It's not going to be able to sustain it like this. They said this the other day. And people still don't really want to listen, even though we're seeing the ramifications of it all over. So when I tell you that all this is going streaming, I don't have the timeline down clearly. I got it wrong before. I'll probably get it wrong 5 more times, but that's where we're going. That's where we're going. All right, I'm going to bring in Blake. Cannibal Lecter, I see you in there, buddy, but I'm going to stay on topic for the moment. Then I'll get to you guys if there's time, which there probably will be, but we'll see. I don't know. Blake, is this Blake? Are you there? Blake the Blake. Come on now. Let me see. Do I have you muted? Nope. I don't see you speaking, but you're in the room, buddy. So if you want to talk, go ahead and I'll talk to you. Do you buy Diet Coke in packs? Oh, yeah. I buy 12 packs or 16 packs, whatever. The wisdom of has-beens. Fuck you, Ravnos, you piece of shit. Fuck you, motherfucker. That guy, he's a smart fucking cookie. Do I like the fact he's taking money from Tencent? No, I don't. But it doesn't mean his opinions about PlayStation and the console business are wrong. What's up, Blake?
All right, I can hear you now.
All right, can you guys hear Blake in the chat? If you can, we'll start talking. Let me know. Hey, Blake, do a quick test, just see if they can hear you.
When I check the mic, I fucking check the mic. I fucking check it 1, 2, 3.
Okay, can you guys hear Blake embarrassing himself? You hear what I said, Blake? Let's see. Hang on. Let's see if your audio's good. I think it's fine, but I'm always shitty with audio, so I want to make sure. He's pretty low. He's pretty low. Increase the volume. Okay, that's not you, Blake. I'll do it on my end. Okay, try something now. Do a quick check.
I plug it in. I make it sound as good as can be.
All right, there we go. All right, Blake, I'll let you have the first word. Kick it off. We were talking in Discord the other day, and what was it I said that got your dander up?
Well, there was a lot that we talked about during that conversation.
As it relates to health, working out, prescription drugs, Ozempic, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, so I would say that throughout my lifetime, every handful of years, there's a magical drug or diet or whatever it may be that comes along. And, everybody, falls, for it and, jumps on board, and they think it's a quick fix to getting thin or in shape or, improving their physique in some way. But it always comes with consequences. And it's kind of like you just mentioned a minute ago. I didn't hear the whole conversation because I had stepped out to the store for a minute, but kind of like you mentioned a minute ago, it's very possible that this with Ozempic, that in 2 years it can be giving everybody cancer. And
correct.
So I didn't hear your the full context of the conversation because I had stepped out for a minute, but essentially I just don't believe in that thought process when it comes to, a quick shortcut towards anything in life. It's not necessarily just, prescription drugs or, the quick diet to getting in the best shape possible. But, I think that, we have enough evidence throughout time and enough history and enough scientific research that has been done that has been able to prove that, through hard physical exercise that you're going to achieve the best results, not only physically. I mean, that's obviously a great side effect, but, the main priority is to, ensure that you're as happy as can be. Happiness is, in general, is just kind of a silly concept. I don't necessarily believe in, just being happy all the time. That's kind of silly. Who walks around with just a smile on their face all the time? Life is difficult. But
Danny DeVito.
That's true. He probably does.
But besides him, you're right. Yep.
Yeah. So, and in
but
general,
you were listening to the show at the beginning, and then you're saying you went out to the store, so you might have missed a little bit, right? So,
yes.
Where do you don't? Oh, you live in San Diego like I do.
Yeah, I live in Kearney Mesa.
Okay, so your store's not far. So you walked to the store and you got right back, and here we are.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yeah, no, it's just a 7-Eleven. You know how it is in San Diego. They're all over the place.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, so my take is, if you want to, there is a very frequently tossed about and proven statistic that says 95% of diets fail. Right. The idea, I think, of putting everyone, like you mentioned, if you want your physique better, or if you want to be thin, or if you want to be get your, all of those things were kind of physical manifestations of going to the gym versus, and I would agree with that, by the way. I think if there is a drug that allows you, there's steroids, but if there is a drug that allows you to make your physique amazing, I'm sure that would be part of the conversation too. But we have an obesity problem in the country and in the world, but certainly in the country. It doesn't come from, in my opinion, the idea that people are lazy, and that's why there's so much fat shaming, because I think people historically look at it and go, oh, that guy's overweight, that girl's overweight, they must be lazy and slothy and all this shit. And I'm sure, hang on, and I'm sure there are situations where that is the case, but more often than not, not everybody has the brain chemistry and the blood chemistry to deal with the betrayal of the community that the food companies put in with the sugar, the fat, the salt, the addictive properties. And so we've all gotten a lot fatter, and not everybody has the privilege of time or the privilege of vanity or the privilege of money to sort of go, I'm going to dedicate a lot of time. Or some people just don't have the ability or the desire to stick with that. They have other things that are more important to them. So if a drug comes along and says, hey, you're never going to look like you're not going to look like, what's the guy's name at the Oscars last night? Ken from the Barbie movie, the the Ryan Gosling. But, you're not going to die of diabetes or a heart attack or a stroke because you're overweight. I don't really understand the pushback on that from you.
Well, the pushback that I would have is that, unless this drug can magically fix your motor skills, in addition to help you lose weight, and if it can also assist in the mental battle that all of us are combating daily in the country, then if it's a wonder drug that can do all of these things, then I would be very interested to see the positive effects as they unfold.
Why does it have to include those two factors, motor ability and mental ability, to still be a value when it does in fact give you already the appetite suppressant ability?
Well, I would say, first of all, the reason, that's kind of two questions, but the first thing that I would say is the reason that I mentioned those things is because through, hard work, working out, and by the way, you mentioned working out for vanity, which, by the way, I agree, that's kind of what bodybuilding is. It's not necessarily with the end goal of being as healthy as possible. Hence why a lot of bodybuilders take, testosterone,
right,
and human growth hormone, and things along those lines. So I would say that, the reason that I mentioned those things is because it's proven scientifically that all three of those things, are improved drastically through, daily exercise. And
right. Oh, that's true. No, exercise is great for mental health for sure. I can't speak to motor skills, but absolutely 100%. It's good for your physical health and your mental health, 100%.
It's really just over a specific period of time, if you're not repeating, using your motor skills the way that you should be or the way that you did when you were younger, it's just a lack of repetition at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then so once you start to perform these things, and you discipline yourself to do them daily, it's not whether or not you have the motivation to do it. You just have to understand that it's in order to live the best life possible, not necessarily just for yourself, but for your family and children around you. You have to wake up. Doesn't require a gym, or anything along those lines, but you need to wake up in the morning and take care of yourself physically. I agree that, from a diet perspective, the United States is absolutely terrible when it comes to pushing the easy, fix. It's easy. It's cheaper to eat unhealthy,
Mm-hmm.
in this country, and that's a huge problem, and that's a cultural problem. And I don't necessarily know how we fix that without strong leaders at the top to push that narrative and that agenda, and that's not happening right now, which is a whole nother conversation. But
Has it ever happened? I mean,
no.
No.
It
You would base. I mean, it would be illegal to do what you're saying, basically, because you would have to somehow allow the government to step in and tell people, okay, that's too much food, or you can't put that shit. I mean, you can do it if you are the FDA, and you have enough evidence to suggest what they're putting in the food or the drinks or whatever is clearly harming you. However, there's plenty of things that harm us that they know about, but the lobbyists have made sure that they don't make it, illegal. But that said, though, I mean, I think the reason that your mindset bothers me is that it doesn't bother me for you, but it's that as a guy who has, everybody has arrived where they are because of their experiences, and whether those experiences are chemical and baked into their DNA, or whether it's things that have happened to them yesterday and when they were a kid, everybody's experience is the reason they are who they are today. And for whatever reason, at this point in your life, you are able and willing and you are motivated to do the things that you're saying you do. And for you, you have benefited the ego value, the health value, the mental health value. And so, yes, for you, I understand. And I've been there before. I used to be addicted to spinning, and I wasn't muscly, but I looked like, a fucking, concentration camp victim. I was so fucking thin because I didn't eat a lot and I spun like a motherfucker. This is right before God of War. But I had the ability in my life at that time and the desire, and I had the whatever it was in my brain that said, I want this right now. But the idea that what you're basically saying is unless you have a mindset that allows you to do X, Y, and Z, anything else that you do to allow you to achieve X, Y, and Z is somehow a negative. And I would just push back on that because not everybody is where you are, and where you are is not good or worse than anywhere else. It's where you are right now. And let's say God forbid, I don't know if you're married, but I don't even tell me if you are or not, because I'm not trying to paint a horrible picture, but let's just say this. Let's say somebody incredibly important to you dies tragically in 2 weeks. And yes, intellectually you may know, well, the best thing for me after I go through a normal grieving process is to get to the gym because it'll help me, blah, blah, blah. But let's say it sends you off the deep end, or let's say you get fired from your job, or anything that happens that throws this perfectly balanced way you have of living your life kind of in chaos. And I were to say, assuming it's safe, well, there's a drug that will give you some of those benefits since you're not getting to the gym right now. You would not take it?
No.
Why? Of course you would. Yes, you would. But why do you say you wouldn't?
Because I've seen the negative effects of drugs throughout my entire life. And I don't think that...
You don't take any drugs? You don't take a Tylenol for a headache or anything?
I will, very rarely, I will take a single Tylenol, if I'm not feeling good at all. But I try and avoid it as much as possible. I'm not saying that I never have.
Right. What experience did you have? I know you mentioned your dad on the Discord. What experience did you have that made you say, okay, I want nothing to do with any kind of prescription drug?
Well, first of all, before we go forward with that, I would like to address a couple of things that you had already brought up previously. So what I would say in regards to, you pushing back on kind of my mindset is what I would say is that I don't expect everybody in the world to have the same mindset that I do. And I have been at different points in my life where I'm definitely not in as good of a mindset, which is one of the reasons that, I like to feel like I can speak to the positive benefits of, some of these things. But what I will say is that I feel like over time, when I was a kid, as I've gotten older, is I feel like we've become more and more empathetic as a society, right? And that's kind of a big part of that has come to fruition through the internet, because people are more connected than ever, and we get to unfortunately hear about atrocities that happen all across the world in an instant, and that's made us all extremely empathetic for one another. But I would definitely say that empathy, while being a very, very good thing and required, can also be a detriment. And in my opinion, I feel like we've become overly empathetic to the point that it is dangerous for, the people or the person next to us. It's like you mentioned.
What is an example of empathy being overly empathetic has been negative?
For example, if we were to, go back to weight, and kind of keep it on topic, I would say that, telling people, oh, I'm sorry that you're addicted to food or you look this way, and, instead of just hitting them with the dose of reality of the way that the world actually works, is not going to do anything positive for them for multiple factors.
But
one,
all the evidence
from a health perspective,
all the evidence is to the contrary of that. The way the world works is that if somebody invents a mousetrap that works, everybody buys it. And right now, it seems the drug companies have accidentally stumbled upon a weight loss product that may not. I give it a 50-50 shot, but so far so good. may actually be able to help a lot of people. So isn't that the way the world works? Which is when somebody invents a car or a transistor or a computer or an airplane, society changes because the quality of life goes up because of that invention. Why is this different?
Well, this is altering, the chemistry of the human body, so I don't feel like those are quite equatable. But
okay, so but then that goes back to there are no drugs that are acceptable. You're not just talking Ozempic. You're saying anything that you put into your body that alters what you were born with, unless you've just got some horrid disease or something, and even then maybe you say is no good.
No. I definitely think that there's very, very positive things that you can gain from Western medicine in general. But I don't think that.
How do you distinguish the ones that you put in your body that make your body chemistry change that are good versus bad?
I would say due to the scientific evidence that we've gathered about drugs over time, and that's why it's a little scarier to jump on board with a new drug, considering how many new drugs we've seen come and go, throughout the years. And I think that you're definitely aware of that. You're a little bit older than I am, so
I'm aware of that. I'm also aware of the fact that because I'm a little bit older than you are, and because I'm not in great shape, and I haven't been able to get in great shape, I haven't been able to sustain it. There's a point where I come to where it's like, well, you can keep leaving the doctor at your physical every year and going, I'm going to do it this time, doc. I'm going to do it this time. Or I can go, maybe I will do it this time, but you know what? I've said that for the last 8 years. Nothing's changed. And perhaps this will allow me to live longer and not have a heart attack or a stroke. And so
I think that if that's the only option that you have mentally and that's going to help you live longer, then sure, take it.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody that I love around me to die any sooner, but I would also like, people to be able to work for it without having to take a drug. And I think that there's multiple reasons that we want to keep that in place from a societal standpoint.
Okay, but why? Okay, let's say you're right. Let's say there is there's two questions I have for that. The first one is this: how old are you right now?
37.
Okay, are you really financially well off right now?
I'm fine. I'm not anything amazing. I'm better than average.
So when I was 37, I was making more money than I'd ever made in my life, right? I mean, even to this day, I was making like a shit ton of money. And clearly I put my focus and my interest there. And clearly at the same age, you haven't. So why is it that do you think that you deserve the same judgment from people who have money at 37 about you not having a good enough work ethic than you give to people who are overweight or struggling with their weight?
Yes.
Even if you were raised to not have that work ethic, or even if that you don't think money is as important as the other 37-year-old.
Well, unfortunately, that would be living in a dream world, and I'm very aware how important money is to the societal structure that we have.
Sure, but it's not the most important thing, I would imagine. I imagine your friends and family are, correct?
No, I mean, obviously it's not the most important thing, in the world. Obviously my family will always come first,
Right. So you would say no to work at times if it meant you had more time to spend with your family.
Oh, that's why I've gotten to the point that I'm at, and I've been working in the corporate world for 17 years, and I started my own IT engineering company about 7 years ago.
Okay, right, but that's what that's what I'm saying, though. So why can't, I mean, I know people can, but you're saying you're okay if someone looks at you and says, dude, you should never at 37 have any financial wants unless you're like trying to buy a fucking yacht, because you're young, you're able, you're in the prime of your earning years, you're doing something wrong. You would go, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've had many distractions throughout my life that I take a full accountability for, and I personally feel like I should be further along than I am in many ways. Yeah. So I think that there's biological reasons, for why it's important that a woman would look at a man and say, hey, that man is in very good shape, he makes good money. There's a reason why a woman would be more biologically attracted to that man than the guy who sits at home and plays video games 24/7 and is 200 pounds overweight, for example, right?
Sure.
So there's
I
the
mean,
reason
because
that
of
stuff exists
what
is
it,
so that
because of
women
what
can
it,
identify those things.
perhaps, but I mean, yes, I think certainly in the I think certainly in the history of humanity, you're right. I think that changes as we become a society where women don't need the men to take care of them. But yes, your point is valid. I think there is certainly an evolutionary biological aspect to people who are healthy looking. Now, the visual of healthy looking has changed and standards have changed over millennia, but still, yeah, I'm sure I would agree with that.
Right. And another point that I would like to make, by the way, just kind of going back a bit, is, instead of looking at our existing leaders, and honestly, you're not, I mean, I'm not going to call you a leader, but obviously you're a well-known figure, and especially in the video game world. And I think that it's more important to have mentors who are strong enough to stand up and tell us the things that we don't want to hear, as opposed to the things that we,
Sure, but that's subjective, because in my mind, what I'm doing right now is telling you what you need to hear, but you won't hear. But
what is it that you are trying to tell me?
I think
take a drug and remove discipline from my life.
No, I don't think so. What I think I'm trying to tell you is that your knee-jerk reaction to judge people who are choosing to tackle the demons and the challenges of life in a different way than you are is actually at the best it's unattractive. At the worst, it is harming you from seeing potential opportunities, friends that could come your way, but you're pushing away because you're like, oh, that person's fat, they must be lazy. But
that's not the way that I operate. I think that is going to an extreme. I have plenty of overweight friends because.
But you probably tell them that they shouldn't be overweight. All they have to do is XYZ, right?
Well, I think that. Well, I don't think, I know for a fact that it's better to let somebody know where they stand in society, as opposed to tell them, hey, maybe.
As a fat guy, I assure you, I know they don't. They're not like, what do you mean? I assure you, your fat friends know they're fat. And they know what people think about them because they're fat.
Okay, well, do you think that it's better to tell somebody that their dream girl is going to magically come into their life, or realistically let them know that they need to work hard to make sure that woman is attracted to them?
I think if they were saying to me, hey, Jaffe, I really want to find a spouse or a girlfriend, and I want it to be an incredibly hot and heavy sexual relationship, then I would say, okay, well, look, that can exist if you're not, working on yourself, but there is a shortcut to that. And it's exactly what Blake is saying, is what I would say. If that is
it's not a shortcut, it's the hard path.
Well, it's a shortcut from a standpoint is if you do nothing, you probably will eventually meet somebody if you do some other things that aren't what you're suggesting. But if you hit the gym tomorrow and you just are disciplined about it, then absolutely you may not find the love of your life, but you'll find a lot more fucking action out there because you'll put yourself in a category of more attractive dudes. I think that's true, but that's not what everybody's going after at any point in their life, correct? I mean, why is that?
I would say that the primary purpose for life is to procreate.
Why would you say that? What evidence? People say that and throw that fact around, or that quote fact around. What evidence do you have that that's the case?
Well, I would say that the fact that we are all very sexual creatures. The majority of the human race is attracted to the opposite gender, and it's pretty obvious that people enjoy having sex with one another.
Having sex, yeah, but we're talking about procreating. I'm just saying that
So
it's,
let me give you
is that your number one motivator right now in your life? I mean, do you have children?
No, my girlfriend can't have children.
Okay, so I have children. I no longer have that desire. That's been done. So, and some people
So
like
let me ask you a theoretical question then.
Yeah.
Is would you, when you're 70 years old, 80 years old,
70, 80, okay,
90 years old, whatever it may be, and God forbid you're on your deathbed, are you going to be thinking about which boss that you please the most, or are you going to be looking for your children to be surrounding you?
My guess is I would be looking for my children to be surrounding me.
Right. So why are we telling people to not try and achieve that level of happiness in their life?
Okay, so you're going to break up with your girlfriend then?
No, I wouldn't do that
she can't
because I'm not shallow.
Well, yeah, but she can't have kids.
It is what it is.
Okay, but then so what?
I'm a loyal person.
Okay, so your loyalty is more important being on your deathbed, even if you can't have the death you want, correct?
That's correct. Yep.
I mean, I would agree with you. That's the choice I would make. But I'm just saying that. So, I mean, look, the fact is, though, not everybody wants that. Or the fact is, no one,
Well,
I
agree that not everybody wants that, but I also think it's been bred into us to not want that. Our birth rates are dropping at a drastic rate. The average male under 30, not the average male, but 1 out of 3 males under 30 are actively virgins in modern day society. When women are leaving men in marriages, the reason that they're leaving, and it's being reported, the reason they're leaving is for financial reasons 90% of the time.
Meaning they no longer need to stay married to stay safe. They can feed themselves and shelter themselves. So
why do you look at it like that? It's interesting how you ask a man.
You just said that though. That's what you just said.
That you ask a man, like, do you need women? And they're going to say yes. But you were saying that women should say.
I'm saying that you just said that 90% of the reason they give for getting divorced in modern times is the financial reason, right? That I'm commenting on
because their husband's not making enough. Yes.
Right. So, yeah. No. See, I didn't see it that their husbands wasn't making enough. I saw it as, why would I be in a marriage that is not where I want it to be? And in the past, the answer made a lot more sense. It's like, well, it's harder for women to make the kind of living that people want in this society and blah, blah, blah. And so you kind of put up with things you'd rather not because you get things that you want, But now that's no longer a prerequisite for a woman to have the kind of lifestyle she wants. And so the man and the woman, but in this case, we're talking about the women leaving, the man better be pretty fucking worth staying around for. And it's got nothing to do.
That's kind of goes back to my original point, is you can't just be the average man and expect to be happy and find the woman who's going to want to stick around with you in the long term.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I would have to say, that's a real scarcity fear-based mindset, which is fine. I mean, everybody's got their bag of hammers and everybody's got the way they live their lives. But think about that for a minute. The only reason you're being the best man you can is so a woman doesn't leave you. I would suggest that that's not being the best man you can. The best man you can be is the one that's like, look, this is me at my best. Take it or leave it. But I'm not going to fucking become something out of a fucking Hallmark rom-com just so you don't fucking leave me.
Right.
That's what I would say.
That's definitely an extreme. There's, a lot more, to it than that. But you did ask what originally got me to this mindset.
Yeah.
And if you're curious, I can answer that question.
Yeah, briefly. I don't think I love you to death, Blake. I love you're part of our community. We're not going to have a meeting of the minds, but I do appreciate your perspective. And I don't think you're wrong about it to some extent. I think life is very much easy if you understand that if you do A, you will get B. And how bad do you want B? Well, that'll determine how much you tackle A. But I just think the only way where we do disagree is that not everybody's B is the same.
And I just think that we can look at our culture compared to other cultures throughout the world where people don't have the access to technology that we do. I would say that the average person in the United States lives like kings of old, when you think about it. And you look at some cultures throughout society where the women are actively running throughout hills the entire day, even the elderly women who are pregnant, and they can run for miles and miles all through mountains, and that's just their culture, and they don't have a choice to do anything but that. But we are given the choice to wake up every single day here and browse TikTok until our thumbs bleed. And it's just I think that the United States, the majority of us are just way more privileged than some of these other people throughout the rest of the world, and we just refuse to look at ourselves and see that. So that would kind of be my parting thought. So.
Okay. All right, Blake, I appreciate it, buddy. Call back anytime. I'll talk to you soon, man.
All right, bye.
All right, there he goes, fellas. Let me get this call real quick. Hang on. Speaking of wives, or ex-wives in that case. Okay. People nowadays live longer. They do. They do. All right. Let me bring in a couple of quick chats. I think this is the one from, where are you from? Are you the Ukraine fella? Hey, it's Jaffe. What's up, man?
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great. What's going on?
Great. Kind of.
What would you like to talk about, my good friend?
Isn't he the one who's choosing topic?
Well, so you called me and you're waiting for me to tell you what to talk about?
No. Yeah.
Are you the one that lives in Ukraine?
Yeah. I'm the one from Ukraine.
What do you think about what's going on? Do you think America needs to keep giving Ukraine money, or no fucking way? What do you think? I think we should, but I don't like Putin at all. I think he's a nightmare. I think he needs to be taken down like a fucking dirty dog. But what do you think?
Not money, but just more weapon.
Well, weapons is money. It's the same thing. But yeah, I mean, I would very much like to see us continue to support Ukraine. What about this thing where people say, "Oh, but the Ukraine is filled with Nazis"? What is that about?
Ukraine has higher. It's a democracy country, not like Russia. We have freedom of speech. We have elections where actually anyone can win. Like our president was a comic, an actor.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, it's like in America. You have technically you can have a KKK walking around the street, right? But that doesn't mean that everyone in America is KKK, right?
Is what 3K? What?
No, the racist guy, white hat, all that.
Oh, KKK.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. No, you can totally do that if you can get elected. And sadly, these days.
Yeah. So there's those guys who are apparently like skinheads.
Okay, so it's not a country overrun with Nazis like some
people
would have us believe, and I knew that. But okay, well, yeah, no, I mean, I hope you stay safe. I hope, God, man, have you lost anybody you love over in this conflict? I mean, I have to assume a lot of people have, right? I mean, I know a lot of people have, but
scary stories like a friend from school. Her father died, and they gave her family her own coffin with different body. And they needed to wait.
Yeah. And this, I mean, I'll tell you. So let me ask you this. I mean, do you think Putin's going to go after other countries after Ukraine?
Depends on how this conflict is going to end. If it's Putin is old guy, but he's not like super old. If you look at him, just the way he talks, the way he moves, and you compare him to Biden, he looks like way younger than Biden, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, there's no doubt. How
So
old is he?
let me Google. I think around 70.
Goodness gracious, that's
Oh.
insane. All right. Well, listen. Is there anything you want to talk about as it relates to geek topics? Something fun? Video games, movies, the Oscars.
Yeah,
what do you want to talk about?
about video games. There's recently I noticed the topic against like physical media and digital media that Sony bought Crunchyroll and people lost access to some different
Right.
anime service. And recently they announced Microsoft announced games to PlayStation and they announced them physically. Do you afraid that physical media might die?
No, I don't care.
You don't care?
No, I don't care at all. I don't. I mean, I here's what I think. I think that in America, you'll see it in Europe first, but you will see some legislation passed that makes it that creates, I think, a shift in this whole idea of licensing something just because it's digital. I think the idea that you can buy something that's digital and they can just take it away because you don't actually own it, you own the license to use it at their pleasure. I think that is going to eventually reach a tipping point when it happens to enough people that we're going to see, consumer advocates step in and say, okay, that's not happening. So yeah, you can pull this off your service, but you have to pay the people back their money, or you have to compensate them in some way that is fair. I think that's crucial, and we're not there yet, but we will be there. Europe does a much better job at the sort of consumer protections, and I think they'll do it before we do, but I think we'll all get there. But regarding physical going away, once that issue is solved, the legislation part of it, most people really don't care. There are collectors, and I appreciate that, but
yeah, especially like new generations.
My kids have never. They play the shit out of Roblox and Fortnite. There's no disc, there's no box, there's no manual, and they've never asked for one. And I know a lot of people will push back and say, but what about, what about the fact that, I won't be able to play that game? It's like, yeah, it happens. Life goes on. I mean, you're living in a fucking country that's being bombed. There are bigger problems that it's like, oh my God, I can't play I mean, I get it. It sucks. It's a nice problem to have, but I think for every one person that has that problem, there's probably like 5,000 people that take the convenience of digital over waiting for it to arrive in the mail or going out to the store and then, putting it in the fucking thing and installing it. And low barrier of entry has always been the one of the great main arteries to the masses, and I don't see this being any different.
I also like me personally. I'm fully digital. I have fast internet. I have plus I had PS2 and PS1, and I remember. Do you have had any disc with scratches that you can play?
Oh yeah, you mean the first one, or you don't have any scratch discs?
I have lots of them for PS2 and PS1.
Oh right, yeah, you don't have those problems anymore if you're digital. That's
true.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Thank you for calling, and please stay safe where you are. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah,
have a great
of course. You too. I appreciated that call. Listen, where did it go? There was a comment. Oh yeah, Nawdog says, I'll get Blake's in a second. Nawdog says, damn, Sea of Thieves is $60 on Sony. I didn't think it was $60, but I'm telling you, man. Now again, I care if Game Pass is successful or PS Plus is successful because I like subscription services, but that's not what this is about. What it's about is I will be a monkey's uncle. What the fuck? If gamers start seeing stuff like that, $40. Okay, standard edition says HH is $40. Okay. So $40 for the standard edition, or you can get it, quote, for free on Game Pass. Please don't come at me and tell me Game Pass isn't free. I know it's not free, but psychologically it's free. Okay, we're done with that. You can get it free on Game Pass. $70 for Call of Duty this Christmas. Phil Spencer has already said that's coming on Game Pass day one, or he's hinted at it very strongly. Similar to Hi-Fi Rush will cost you $40, or it's free, right? So I guess there's a point where I think people are going to look at it and go, as much as I like Sony, or as much as I like this or that or the other, why in the world am I paying this fucking money? That's all I'm saying. I don't know how consumers are going to turn their noses up at that when it becomes obvious that their friends are playing on Game Pass, which is why I think Sony will probably do what they can eventually to put Game Pass on the goddamn PlayStation, because making 30% of $20 a month is a lot better than making nothing and having them go to the competition. Have I ever been threatened by an activist if you didn't make your game woke? No. Whatever you want to say about that shit, the Sweet Baby shit, what I will say is there is a lot of just ignorant myth building going on around that company. The fact that they threaten. They don't threaten. Even that, and I was, did you see that woman's thing, her video? Yeah, I saw her video. I saw her video at a GDC conference where she is in performative mode, and she's kind of talking herself up and her company up, and everybody's done it. You give speeches. You get your laughs. You make yourself think you look cool, all that bullshit. I have never in my entire life met a marketing person so stupid that you think the marketing person, when they make decisions, or the PR people don't. I mean, as much as I butt heads with PR people when I was at Sony, you think they're not aware of the zeitgeist? You think they're not aware of the fact that every move they make could lead to good and or bad consequences? They don't need someone to go, if you don't put your game and make it woke, we're going to, it's going to galvanize our people. In what? And what? Harry Potter, as much as I am a very strong advocate for trans rights, Harry Potter was the #1 fucking game of the year. Nobody cares. Nobody outside the internet gives a fuck, or in terms of Twitter, gaming's internet. So, no, the last game I made was the most anti-woke thing in the world, which is why some people think it failed. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons the journalists were so upset with it, because it was absolutely very... not woke. It wasn't like offensive to people who were in marginal. It didn't punch down, but it absolutely was vulgar as fuck, and I enjoyed that. But I don't think there's any evidence to where my nerds are at. The activists don't care about bad consequences. No, they don't. But they don't have any power. Does BlackRock perhaps have power? Because they need, companies need to be on their list of investment-ish. There's truth to that. Hey, you here? No, you're not. What a dumb question. I got to go in a minute. There's absolute truth to that. Although I did read recently, if you do a little research into the stocks that BlackRock recommends and the sort of social pro stocks, or funds, it's not like they're ruling the roost, but they're not crashing. It's just they're kind of middle of the road performers. But regardless, sure. And then will a company maybe bring on Sweet Baby in order to say, hey, I don't even know, and I'm sure most of you people don't know either, the checklist. Like, do you have to bring on a consultancy firm to get on BlackRock's investment sheet? I don't know. I don't think you do either. But regardless, it doesn't have to be Sweet Baby. And regardless, you don't have to listen to these people. It's just that a lot of these guys who are out there really upset about this, they give them way too much power that isn't really in their hands. As I've said before, you think Cory Barlog is going to sit there and be like, I'd like to do this, but Sweet Baby says no? Come on, man. You couldn't keep people like Neil Druckmann at Sony if that were the case. And that's true. Maybe you don't know it's true. I don't know. Anyway, fellas, I appreciate you guys waiting in the call. I am off to do some family stuff, but if you want to call back on the next show, I'll gladly take it. Let me ask you guys a quick question. I'm going to put a poll up real quick. You're going to start, Zeke says he's going to start high T script consultants. Cool. And I would support your right to do that. That's the thing a lot of people also don't understand. It's like, I can be woke and I can be absolutely pro, all these causes that Sweet Babies say they're for, and I am. I'm not a fan of their tactics, but I also am excited to see Stellar Blade, and I'm excited to see naked ladies in movies when it's appropriate. It's like it's not black or white, man. Maskista, thank you, buddy. He says, will Starfield be game of the generation once it hits PS5? It might be. You never know. You never know. Blake, 33 months. Thank you, buddy. He says, it's not you against the world. It's you against yourself. Victim mentality will destroy your life, and no one is coming to save you. Love you long time. Thank you, buddy. Am I watching Shogun? Not yet, but I hear it's absolutely fucking excellent, and I plan on watching it. I think people just need to let people live their own lives, says JSD. Let people do what they want if it doesn't fuck with people. I agree, 100%. Fuck you, Darth Nugget. I was going to put a poll. I was just going to anyway, point is, though, I'll be making some videos tonight and tomorrow. I'm going to be putting up something about Unicorn Overlord. I'm going to be putting something up about Maniac soon. I don't know. I'm kind of tired of talking about, I think there's a video to be made about the industry. Like, what does this crash look like, or this change that you have people like Layden and Peter Moore talking about in the press this week? I think there's something there, but it's like, I'm so tired of hearing people talk about that shit. Is it just me? I know those videos get a lot of views, and I love that. I appreciate that. My channel needs that. But at the same time, I'm like, another fucking video of people pontificating on this shit. I'm just tired of it, man. Miscellaneous gaming vids. Did you talk about the Activision union? What I'll say about it is what I've always said, which is it's useless. I think video games could and should unionize, but as long as it's people at the QA level, which is great, we need them. We can't make the business run without them, but they are not all of them and not all areas of it, but a very large percentage of the types of jobs in QA are quickly replaceable compared to other jobs, and they have no leverage, they have no power. So it's wonderful that they have unionized. But end of the day, if you don't get the programmers in there, if you don't get the producers in there, some of the key designers and artists and effects guys and whatever, they don't have a pot to piss in. I'm tired of it too, says Maskista. Right now I have heard enough about it. Yeah, so I'm probably not going to make that. I don't know if it'll be good or bad for the channel, but I'm going to try. You know me, I can't stick to anything, but I'll do my best. I'm going to try to focus, at least for the next couple weeks, on just games, because that's what I love anyway. I like talking the business, but unless something new happens, do you really need another fucking voice in your ear talking about, well, I think that, you know what I think. God damn it. All right, fellas, I'll be back all this week with streams and videos. In the meantime, consider a membership, consider subscribing, consider sharing and telling your friends about this fine video game program. Most importantly, though, be safe, be well, and have a good rest of your night. I'll see you guys soon, I hope. All right, goodbye, motherfuckers. Here's some music. See ya.